He missed a penalty at 38 years old in the biggest game of his life. For a few agonizing minutes, it looked like the record would have to wait. And then, 38 minutes in, Lionel Messi curled a left-footed shot into the near corner and changed the history of football forever. 18 World Cup goals. The greatest goal scorer this tournament has ever seen, and he's still not finished. Monday, June 22nd, 2026, Dallas Stadium, Arlington, Texas, Argentina versus Austria. On paper, a routine group stage match, but in reality, one of the most historic days football has ever produced. Lionel Messi walked onto that pitch needing just one goal to become the highest World Cup goal scorer in the history of the men's game. Ahead of him stood a record that had survived for 12 years. 16 goals held by Germany's Miroslav Klose, set across 4 World Cups between 2002 and 2014. By the time the final whistle blew, that record was gone. Messi didn't just break it, he broke it twice in the same match. The story of how this record fell is almost too dramatic to be real. In the 8th minute, Argentina won a penalty. The entire stadium knew what was coming. Messi stepped up, the man who had scored his first World Cup goal 20 years ago as an 18-year-old, and sent his shot wide to the right. The record would have to wait temporarily. 30 minutes later, everything changed. Thiago Almada received the ball and whipped a precise pass into the penalty area. Enzo Fernandez let it run through his legs in a brilliant dummy, and Messi, arriving perfectly onto his left foot, swept the ball low into the near corner past a wrong-footed goalkeeper. 17 World Cup goals. The record was broken, but Messi wasn't done. Deep into stoppage time, as defenders scrambled, Messi forced a second shot through a crowd of bodies to make it 18. Not just the men's World Cup record, 18 goals also moved him ahead of Brazilian legend Marta's 17 goals in the Women's World Cup, making Messi the highest World Cup scorer in the history of the entire tournament, across men's and women's football combined. Here's what makes this achievement almost incomprehensible. Messi arrived at this tournament carrying a muscle injury from his last MLS match with Inter Miami. He wasn't even confirmed to play until the last possible moment, and yet he has now scored all 5 of Argentina's goals across their first 2 matches, a hat trick against Algeria, and this double against Austria. At 38 years and 357 days old against Algeria, Messi became the oldest hat-trick scorer in World Cup history. He is now the first player in over half a century to score in 6 consecutive World Cup matches, joining Just Fontaine in 1958 and Jairzinho in 1970. And Miroslav Klose himself, in January 2026, he told a German newspaper, "I'm sure my record will be broken soon. Either Messi will do it at this World Cup, or Mbappe will do it at the next one." Klose didn't just accept it gracefully, he predicted it. Even Messi's father was watching from back home in Argentina, battling a personal health struggle that added an emotional weight to every single goal his son scored in Dallas. 12 years. That's how long Miroslav Klose's record stood. Klose was a World Cup champion, a Golden Boot winner, a player who gave everything to Germany across 4 tournaments. His record was considered by many to be unbreakable, and now it belongs to Messi, a man who scored his first World Cup goal at 18 years old in 2006, has carried an entire nation for 2 decades, and is still producing defining moments at 38. 12 of his 18 World Cup goals have come since he turned 35 years old. In the stage of a career when most players have retired, Messi is rewriting history. Kylian Mbappe now sits on 16 World Cup goals, level with where Klose's record once stood. The greatest goal-scoring race in World Cup history is very much alive, but right now, at this moment, nobody is catching Messi. 20 years ago, an 18-year-old kid from Rosario, Argentina, scored his very first World Cup goal against Serbia and Montenegro. Nobody could have known that goal was the beginning of the greatest individual scoring story this tournament has ever told. Today, that story reached its peak. 18 goals goals, 6 World Cups, one record that may never be broken again. Lionel Messi turns 39 years old this Wednesday. He is still the best player at the biggest tournament on earth, and Argentina, with 6 points from 2 games, are through to the round of 32, hunting a 3rd consecutive World Cup title, the greatest of all time. Proven again. If you want to follow every chapter of Messi's record-breaking final World Cup, subscribe right now and hit that notification bell. We are covering every goal, every record, and every historic moment all the way to July 19th. Don't miss a single second of history.